Hello and welcome to the discourse. Today we are going to talk about the gender. There are a few asexual animals in our world. However, most of the animals, most of the mammals are sexual in nature, and there are two sexes, the male sex and the female sex. An animal can be represented either as a male or a female. As for example, the male animals are boy, lion, or a hero, or a cock sparrow. Now the female counterparts are girl, or lioness, or heroine, or hen sparrow. Now a noun that represents a male animal is known as the masculine gender. That is, a masculine gender is a noun that represents or denotes a male animal. Similarly, a feminine gender is a noun that represents or denotes a female animal. So boy, lion, hero, cock sparrow, these are masculine gender. On the other hand, girl, lioness, heroine, hen sparrow, these are feminine genders. However, some nouns are not gender specific. They can either represent male animal or a female animal, and hence they are known as the common gender. So a common gender is a noun. A common gender is a noun which represents or which can represent either male animal or female animal. As for example, parent, child, teacher, student, pupil, friend, enemy, thief, judge, lawyer, neighbor, niece, cousin, orphan, baby, infant, and many more. So these are examples of such nouns that can either represent masculine gender or feminine gender. That is, a parent can either be male or a parent can be female. A child can be male or female. A teacher can be male or female. A student, pupil, friend, enemy, all these can either be male or female. Hence, they are known as the common gender. Because they are not gender specific, but they represent gender. They can either be male or female. Now there are some nouns that represents neither a male gender nor a female gender, and these nouns are known as neuter gender. The meaning of neuter is neither. That is, a neuter gender represents neither a male animal nor a female animal. That is, a neuter gender doesn't represent any animal. So what does a neuter gender denotes? A neuter gender denotes non-living things. Things that do not have any life. That is, objects, non-living objects such as book or pen or table or stone or diamond. So these are examples of neuter gender, such nouns that do not represent a male animal or a female animal. So a noun can be a masculine gender, A noun can be a feminine gender, a noun can be a common gender, or a noun can be a neutral gender. Now all these three, the masculine, the common, the feminine gender, represents living things. If a body is living, then it should have sex. It can either be male, a masculine gender, or female, a feminine gender, or it can represent either male or female, that is a common gender. However, neutral genders are those that are not living. A non-living thing is represented by neutral gender. All non-living things are represented by neutral gender. They do not have any sex. They are neither masculine gender nor feminine gender. They are neutral gender. So there are four genders in English grammar: masculine, feminine, common, and neutral gender. So it should be clear that in English, the gender of a noun is entirely dependent on sex or absence of sex. A noun is masculine or feminine or common gender if it is living, it has sex, that is, it can be represented either as male or female. And a noun is a neutral gender if it cannot be represented as male or female, that is, it does not have any sex, non-sexual. However, in some other languages such as Sanskrit or Hindi, the case is not so. In Hindi or Sanskrit, a noun can be masculine or feminine even when it does not represent any sex. As for example, a mountain is known as Parvat in Hindi, and Parvat is Pulling, that is masculine. So it is a mountain, and in Hindi it is known as Parvat, and it is masculine in Hindi. And the top of this mountain, that is the crown or the peak, crown or peak of the mountain is known as Shikha or Choti. And Shikha or Choti represents Striling, that is feminine gender. Now neither mountain nor peak represent any sex, but they represent gender in Hindi. Because in Hindi, gender is not about sex, but it is about feeling. In Hindi, we consider that the mountain, the base of the mountain represents strength. It is the base, hence it is Pulling, that is masculine. But the crown is the most important piece of this body, this whole mountain. Hence it is feminine, and it needs the base, the mountain, to exist. So it is represented as feminine gender. So this is the difference between English grammar and grammar of other languages. However, in English also we can personify the neutral gender. Now personification means to assume a non-living body as a living being. So we personify a non-living thing and consider it as a living thing by assigning a gender to it, either a masculine gender or a feminine gender. That is, we assume that a non-living thing is living and it is either male or female. Now there are some rules for personification. Rules for personification. Personification is to assume a non-living thing as a living thing by assigning either a masculine or a feminine gender to that non-living thing. The first rule is we assume or assign masculine gender to such non-living things or neutral gender. All non-living things are neutral gender. So we assign masculine gender to such neutral genders that are remarkable for strength, harshness, hostility, or violence. such as the sun, summer, winter, time, or death. An example can be the sun sheds his beams on rich and poor alike. The sun sheds his beams on rich and poor alike. We have personified the sun and considered it as a male, a masculine gender, and hence we have used his. The sun sheds his beams on rich and poor alike. Second rule for personification is we assign feminine gender to non-living things that are remarkable for kindness, gentleness, beauty, or generosity, etc. As for example, the moon, autumn, spring, the earth, liberty, justice, peace, and so on. All these things are remarkable for kindness or beauty or gentleness or generosity. Some examples can be the moon hid her face behind a cloud. So we have personified the moon and we have considered it as a girl or as a lady who hides her face behind a cloud. We have used her to represent the moon. We have personified the moon. Another example can be spring has spread her mantle of green over the earth. Again, in this case, we have personified the spring as a girl who has spread her mantle of green over the earth. So we have used her to represent spring because we have personified as the spring as a feminine gender. Peace hath her victories no less renowned than war. In this example, we have personified peace as a feminine gender and have used her to represent peace. Peace hath her victories no less renowned than war. Now, if we have to personify war also, then we will personify war as a masculine gender. So, these were the two rules for personification. We assign a masculine gender to such non-living thing which is remarkable for violence or harshness or hostility or strength. And we assign a feminine gender to such non-living things that are remarkable for kindness, beauty, gentleness or generosity.